In this video, I'm going to show you how to connect to a database using Java. So the first step is we'll have to create a Java class to connect to the database. And in order to connect, the libraries that we need are from the java.sql library. We need the connection class, the driver manager, and the SQL exception. So I proceed to create the class connect. And then the way I'm going to connect is by using a GetConnection method. I'm going to make it static just so it's easy to test and it's easy to access. And because this class, the instances don't change, so I'm just going to create a static method here called GetConnection. It will throw the SQL exception, which I imported over here. I will create a variable of type connection, import it over up there. And then the important part here is that I need the URL that points to my database. In my case, my database is in my computer. So it's going to be JDBC, which is the driver. The JDBC is the interface to connect to databases, colon MySQL, which is the kind of database that I'm working on, colon 2 forward slashes, and then the name of the server. In my case, is localhost, which is my own computer, colon 3306, which is the port. It's usually that port unless you changed it. But if you don't know what the port is, then that's the port. Forward slash, and then the name of my database that I'm going to connect to. The name of my database is test. My username is going to be student, and my password, I just have a password of student for the purpose of this class, but this should be your password. Beware, if someone has access to your code and you're using a real database user, they will be able to see your password. And then once I have the URL, the user, and password, I just populate this connection variable up there. I just populate it with, I call the driver manager, which I also imported here, driver manager dot get connection with the URL, the user, and the password. And then this method, because getConnection returns a connection variable, will return that connection. This is the method that returns a connection. This is all you need to return this connection. Okay? Once you have a connection and you work with it, you have to close it in the end. So let's test this connection. I created a public static void test method. And the test method, what it's going to do is within a try and a catch, because this method throws a SQL exception. I'm going to get the connection. If the connection is not null, meaning it was successful, I will print the message connection successful. Then I will close the connection and catch the SQL exception. Usually this connection close should be done a finally clause, just in case getting the connection fails or something else fails. But for simplicity, I just did it here. And then I have my main method which will run this little test. So if all goes well, I should see connection successful. Now I'm going to do this very bare bones. This is a simple text editor. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the command line. I'll be sure to be in the same directory. And now for this to work, well, first I'm going to compile this. I'm going to compile this with javac. This is called connect.java, so I'll compile it. And now to run it, I need a jar file that knows how to connect and how to deal with MySQL databases. You can download this from Oracle as the MySQL connector J driver. And it'll download a jar. In my case, I downloaded this jar, MySQL connector Java 5134 bin.jar. Now, whatever the newest version is, you'll see it there. There's already newer versions than this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run my connect program here. I'm going to move this a little bit here. There. I'm going to run my connect program by calling the Java program. And I'm going to give the class path of this directory and also the jar file that I'm going to use to connect, and then I just call the class connect. And I'll run it, and we see that the message outputted here is connection successful. So we have a class that can connect to a to a database, to a MySQL database using Java, and we can use this class for any other purpose we want.